Hello, my name is Mark Haverty. I work with ImageFast, and in this video we're going to take a look at effective remote working with Microsoft Teams and how leveraging Microsoft Teams can help organizations tackle the challenge of remote working, which has been presented by the pandemic, coronavirus or COVID-19. What we'll cover is a brief look at what a digital workplace is and how implementing a digital workplace can minimize the impact of COVID-19 on your business and help keep your workforce productive while they're working remotely when they're perhaps used to working in an office environment and have suddenly been forced into a remote working from home and need to get set up and working quickly. We'll take a look at a practical example of a digital workspace built out on Office 365, leveraging Microsoft Teams, integrated with a number of different business applications. And we'll also look at how you can get started today. So, brief introduction then, let's talk about the challenge. So, how can we rapidly enable our workforce to work remotely, keep them engaged, motivated and productive, and minimize disruption to our business in the face of the challenges caused by the impact of coronavirus and COVID-19. If we take a look at the second part of that challenge, we've got a scenario where we've perhaps got office workers that are used to coming from home into an office, a physical workplace, sitting at their desk, physically meeting people, perhaps delivering presentations and meetings. All of the information, the assets that they need to do their job are in that physical office location. With the onset of COVID-19, of course, now we've found ourselves with our employees blocked off from that office location and unable to work from there. So they're now in a position where they need to work from home with perhaps limited resources. So that's the challenge. How can we address that with a digital workspace? Well, let's first look at what a digital workplace is. It's a central hub of services and capabilities that provide your employees with a set of tools to allow them to communicate, collaborate, access content, access business applications, and work in an agile environment with mobile devices such as laptops, tablets, phones, and so on and so forth. That's all backed up by the stuff on the right there. So a vision, strategy, governance, support, and technology. And in an ideal world, we'd be helping our clients with all of that as part of a digital workplace implementation project. But with the challenges presented by COVID-19, we've got to work quickly. So how can we very quickly deploy something, get something up and running to give our now remote workforce the ability to communicate, collaborate, and access content and do their job? So we'll just focus on the stuff that's on the left there in blue, which and not too much on the more visionary stuff on the right hand side. So really what we're looking at is quick wins. So quick wins to keep your workforce productive. So what do we need to do? What do we need to enable our employees to do remotely? We need to make sure they can continue to communicate through calls and perhaps with chat, access content, collaborate around content, remain engaged, and give them a facility where they can run meetings remotely, either both with internal colleagues and perhaps with external clients as well, where appropriate. There's a number of technologies that can allow you and help you to do this, but we'll look at, for the purpose of this video, we'll be looking at Microsoft Teams. So we're a Microsoft partner. We work with a number of organizations to help them implement Office 365. Microsoft Teams is a part of Office 365, and it's really the hub for teamwork within Office 365. So it connects into a number of other resources and services to provide a central location where users can work together and access content. It's available across mobile, desktop browsers, and a wide range of devices. And as part of the challenges that have been presented to organizations of all sizes as a result of COVID-19, Microsoft are now offering Teams free for 6 months to help businesses where they're now in a position where they need to work remotely. So we'll look at Microsoft Teams for the purpose of this video. So brief introduction to Teams, thinking about the key things that we need to provide to our employees. Teams allows people to stay in sync with one-on-one and group chats. You can share information in an open, transparent way through channel discussions, and it can communicate across geographies and locations. So you can see here on the right side, we've got a browser open, but we've also got the a mobile device there showing the same chat. We can also communicate through Teams with calling, so direct calling or setting up remote meetings and conference calling as well. And here you can see an example of video meeting and staying connected, sharing video and audio conferencing functionality. We can engage in all types of meetings as well. They can either be, on the fly, spontaneous, or scheduled, external with clients, and also, one-to-manys. You can have huge meetings going on through Microsoft Teams. We can collaborate on content together, so access files along with related chats and apps, and all in one consolidated place. So you can see on the right-hand side there's been some collaboration going on around an Excel spreadsheet and a PowerPoint slide. We can share and co-author Office files together right within the Teams app, and keep the whole team engaged with email and notifications. So, for example, we may set up a team, collaborate around a document in that team, and we can even email something to that team. So, if an email's been received and we want to share that with everyone in our team, we can email the team within in Microsoft Teams, and the email will appear there with the attachments, and the files will be uploaded, and everything's in one central location. One of the critical things that Teams allows us to do is also work remotely with confidence. So, built on Microsoft Office 365, it's compliant with EU model clauses and various regulatory authorities, so GDPR and HIPAA and so on and so forth. And so there's complete transparency in terms of who's accessing content, how security is set up. We can set up multi-factor authentication very quickly as well. But you have complete visibility of what's going on. So although this is something where we may be in a position we need to set something up quickly, you can do that with confidence, knowing that everything's remotely stored and managed in a compliant way. So let's look at a practical example of how Microsoft Teams can help us get started with remote working. When in an environment where we might normally be used to working face-to-face in an office, for example, with our team members. So in this example, I'm part of a project team that's working with a number of my colleagues on a client project. We're now geographically spread out across the country, working from our home offices fairly quickly as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. Can't get into our office, but we still need to work together to keep things moving with this client project. So we've signed up for the Microsoft Teams 6-month trial that Microsoft are offering, and I've logged in here to the Teams site. I'm using the browser for the purposes of this demo. We could also install the client on our desktop or our laptop computers, and we could also use the Microsoft Teams app to do the same thing. So I've logged in, I've authenticated. I can see someone's already set up a first team for us, so I can look at that. And we've got underneath that a channel for company updates and another channel for general. And here you can see we can look at posts that have been added to this channel by various members of our team. That's in the post tab. Along the top, we've got other tabs for files, wiki. We've also got a link to our company intro up here, which we can go ahead and look at as well. On the left-hand side, you'll see a number of tabs as well, so I can look at some activity, what's been going on. I can look at some chat history. So here you can see I've already had a conversation going with one of my colleagues where we've used the Microsoft Whiteboard. We've also used some of the notes functionality. We've shared some documentation, and we'll look at that in a bit more detail in a moment. I can see my contacts, and I can start a new chat from here with someone just by typing in their name, and it will bring up a list of the people that I can talk with. On the left-hand side, keep going down, I've got my Teams tab, which we just looked at. I can also look at a calendar, and from here, I can schedule a new meeting if I want to actually set something up to work with one of my clients. So or with one of my colleagues. So I could have project review is the name of the meeting, start adding the required members, and it's very much a similar experience that you'd be used to seeing if you're used to using Microsoft Outlook. And this will send an invite to those people. We can look at a scheduling assistant, just a regular experience that we might be used to seeing. I've also got access to a files tab where I can either see content that's been uploaded to Teams, but also can use cloud storage as well, which we'll look at as well. So let's come back to the team. So in this scenario, I want to provision a new team for the client project that I'm working on, and then create a channel underneath that team for the actual specific project. So I click down here, join or create a new team, and I'll click the create team button. I can either build one from scratch or use an existing group or team that's already been set up. Let's do one from scratch. This could be just for myself, public where anyone can join, or organisation-wide where everyone joins. So let's say this is a scenario where we've got a number of things going on with one of our clients. So I might make this an organisation-wide team. Give the team a name, which in this case would be the name of the client, and a description if I want to. That's it, that's the team created, and it provisions for me a general channel underneath that. Well, now what I want to do is actually create a channel for the specific project I'm working on. So here, look, I can say add channel. So let's say this is a project I'm working on for an Office 365 deployment. And this will inherit the permissions from the parent team. So I can also automatically show this in everyone's channel list. I won't do that for now. Just click on add. And now my new team is set up and ready to run. My new channel is there. Now it may be that you're not used to, if you're not used to working with SharePoint or used to working with Microsoft Teams or Office 365, you actually use other cloud storage locations to manage your files. And rather than bringing them all into SharePoint or Teams, we can just go ahead and create a link to those files. So with my client team now provisioned and a channel provisioned beneath that for the client project that I'm currently working on, it's available organization-wide, so everyone can see that. I could also have this as a channel that's just available to specific team members if I want to as well. But I've now got a central place where everyone can come in and start a conversation, maintain a dialogue, share files, collaborate and work together around this client project. Now, if you're new to Microsoft Office 365 or Teams or SharePoint and so on and so forth, and you may not be using any of those technologies to store or manage files. Perhaps you're using another cloud storage environment for storing files. So that's fine. What we can do, rather than bring in files for the client project that already exist, if we want to get started quickly, is just click on the Files tab here, click on Add Cloud Storage, and then select from one of the cloud storage options down here on the in this option here. So it may be that I'm leveraging Dropbox. So in this scenario, I get asked to log in to my Dropbox account. And once I'm logged in here, you can see I've got a folder in Dropbox already for my client and some files within there, and I could just go ahead and add that folder, and that brings that into the Teams site for me and into the specific channel. So I can literally start working on these files together with people as I work on this project. Let's go back to the client project, go back to our team, to our channel. So other things that I can do here within my channel for this particular project is add some more tabs across the top here. So if I click on add, let's add a tab for the planner. So this is another piece of functionality that's available within Office 365. Give it a name, project plan, click save. And now the planner is available to me and I can start leveraging that functionality as well. So in very short order, we've been able to provision within Teams a team for our particular client, and then a channel beneath that for the project that I'm currently working on with my colleagues. I've been able to add cloud storage, pointing to the location where I already store and manage all of the files for that particular client project. I can, of course, start bringing them into SharePoint if I want to as well. But in order to get things started quickly, within a matter of minutes, I've been able to get set up and provide an online environment where I can start working together with my colleagues remotely. If we just look at a previous chat that I've had going with one of my colleagues here, you can see that the chat itself has tabs across the top. So, you know, we can access and look at what we were working on together. We use Microsoft Whiteboard here. So instead of, without access to a physical whiteboard, we can actually start leveraging the virtual whiteboard and just using the pen features like we would if we were on in front of a whiteboard ourselves, and my colleagues that I'm working on that call can see exactly what I'm doing real time, and we can start sharing ideas and working together effectively there as well. So very brief run through of how we can quickly get started and manage and work together in teams, host meetings, and collaborate together around files, leveraging whiteboard, and so on and so forth. So what's next? How do we get started with Microsoft Teams and ImageFast? So next steps, schedule a free Microsoft Teams implementation workshop with us today. So we want to help you get set up and running. Sign up for the free Microsoft Teams subscription and download Teams. And really, depending on the size of your organization, we'd advise you pick a team or a project that to get started with. So you've got some clear goals in terms of where you want to get started and what you want to get out of using Teams. We want to help you get going, so a free workshop will aim to get you set up with Teams and actually get you running so that you can start running meetings, collaborating together, doing all of the things that we looked at in that video demo there. Best way to get that going is to contact me direct. My name is Mark Haverty. There's my mobile number and email address. Contact me on LinkedIn, and that's our office address there. And we look forward to hopefully helping you get set up and working remotely soon.